Alright, let's try this one. Okay. We'll teach you how to shew content. Okay, anyways, sorry. Back to what we were saying. So today, we're celebrating what feast?
The Sabbath, the high Sabbath.
Today is the Sabbath. It's not a high Sabbath yet, but it's a Sabbath. What's today?
The tabernacle.
Not
tabernacle.
Not tabernacle, that's at the end of the year. This is the beginning of the year, which makes this Passover. Yeah. So we're going to talk about Passover. And you guys kind of already know about Passover. You may not think you know about Passover, but you do. Because Passover starts a long time ago with a man named Moses. You guys remember Moses?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. And remember, when we talked about Moses, we talked about the 10 what?
Commandments.
Not the 10 Commandments. Yes, Moses has to do the 10 Commandments, but I'm talking about before he gave the Israelites the 10 Commandments, what did he give them? Or what miracles did Moses show of the Almighty? The 10 what?
The 10 plagues.
The 10 plagues. You gotta speak up, Kai.
The 10 plagues.
The 10 plagues. So do you guys remember the song?
No.
Remember? Blood, frogs, fleas, flies. Blood, frogs. No, I say at the beginning, then you guys repeat. So, blood, frogs, fleas, flies.
Blood, frogs, fleas, flies.
Animals,
Boils,
hail, and locusts. Animals, boils, hail, and locusts. Okay, let's try it one more time. We didn't finish, so let's try. Blood, frogs, fleas, flies.
Blood, frogs, fleas, flies.
Animals, boils, hail, and locusts.
Animals, boils, hail, and locusts.
Darkness.
Darkness.
Death.
Death.
Death. Okay, and death is the one that we're going to focus on the most right now, because death is what leads us into Passover. So what happened with the plague of death? Kamari, can you tell me what happened with the plague of death?
Like they had to put blood all over their doors, or else their firstborn son would die.
Or else the firstborn son would die. Did you know that was the beginning of Passover? That was the first Passover?
No! No way.
Yeah, it was. So if they didn't put the blood on their doorposts, and the blood was from what animal?
The sheep.
A sheep, a lamb, yeah, that's right, without spot or blemish. So if they didn't put the blood,
spotted or blemish.
Yeah, if they didn't put the blood on their doorposts, then the angel would come and kill the firstborn. So what happened to the Egyptians?
Their firstborn, they didn't believe it, and their firstborn son died.
That's right. Can you speak up louder, Kamar? Because I want to make sure everybody on camera can hear the answer that you're saying. So they didn't believe what Moses said, and so they didn't put blood on their doorpost, and their firstborn son died. And that's because the Israelites who did listen, right? I'm sure there might have been some who didn't listen, but the Israelites that did listen, they put blood on the doorpost, and the angel passed over their houses. Right?
So they killed them. So they pretend that there's the person who put the blood on the door, and two of the people who didn't. And
Speak up.
And he killed the first one in front and jumped over the whole entire house.
He passed over. So that's why we say pass over. So before, like we were talking about, before the angel came, there was preparation. And so they had
That's preparation.
That's when you have to get ready. Before the Sabbath comes, we have to take time to get ready, right?
Like cook dinner.
Yeah, before we cook dinner, what we do, we clean the whole house. And then to get ready for the preparation of Passover or Feast of Unleavened Bread, we have to get what do we get out the house? What kind? The leaven. So can we have any bread right now? No. No, we can't have any bread. Can we have biscuits?
No.
Can we have cookies?
No.
Can we have unleavened bread?
Yes.
Okay. So whenever I say prove, I want you guys to say all things. So prove
all things.
Because the Bible tells us to prove all things. So if I say that, we have to get all the leaven out of our house, and I say we can't eat leaven for a whole week, then somebody's going to say, well, where's that at, right? So if they ask me where is it at, I have to show them where it's at. Ariel, can you stop licking your arm, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. So this is going to be kind of a long one because in order to explain to you guys, I want you guys to see it for yourself. In order for me to explain to you guys or show you what happened, I'm going to read from you Exodus 12, 1 through 42. All right? You guys got on your listening ears?
Yes. 1 through 40.
Yeah, I just want you guys just have to listen. That's all you got to do. Okay, starting at Exodus 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. So they got their lamb, right? We know about that, right? This is they're preparing. And yes, baby.
I think you said every month. Did they actually do it every month?
No. This is the beginning of month. So this is Passover. Remember at the beginning when we first started teaching? I said Passover is at the beginning of the year. So the month starts, and then yes.
But then you said after all of the beginning of the months.
No. He did not. It says, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. So this is the beginning of the year. Like how on the Gregorian calendar, how we have January, February, March, April. January is what? What month is January? The first month of their year, right?
Yeah.
So the first month of our year is called Abib. And so this is when this is taking place, the beginning of the year. Jumping back down to where I was at verse 4. Oh no. For verse 4. So they got their lamb, right? And if the household be too little for a lamb, let him and his neighbor next to his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it from out of the sheep and from the goats. So could we have a lamb that was 7 years old? No. How many years old does he have to be? The first year. So he's got to be a male of the first year. So can we get a girl lamb? No, a male of the first year, right? And can he have a broke arm? No, because it says no blemish, right? Yes, puppies.
Why does the Bible have to always be like a boy? Because when death came, it was the boy who had to die, and now it has to take a 1-year-old sheep has to die.
Yes.
Why does it has to be boys?
Well, males have a very specific importance to the Almighty. So, like males are the head, they're the leaders. So, if you take the females, that's sad too. But if you take the males, you're taking the leader. So, you shall take it out from the sheep and from the goats. Verse 6. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper doorposts of the house wherein they shall eat it. So first they kill the lamb, right? Then they put the blood on their house. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, and roast it with fire, and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs, and they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast it with fire, his head with his legs, and the whole purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until morning, and that which remaineth until morning ye shall burn with fire. So he said you can't let any of it remain until morning. So does that mean the next day we can eat some more lamb? No, we had to burn it up and finish it all that night.
Oh, but that's just first eating all the body parts.
Verse 11. And thus ye shall eat it with the loins girded, and with your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it with haste, for it is the Lord's Passover. So when they ate their meal, they ate it with a dress, fully dressed.
What does haste mean?
Fast. Eat it fast. So, first step is what? We got our house, right? That's like my house? Thank you. Don't talk about my house. And then what do we have to do with the house?
Put the blood.
We got to put the blood, right?
Kind of doesn't because of the music.
Hey. Don't insult the artist's house.
That's good. That's good.
I don't know how it has to
Okay.
do with our house.
So we got the first thing. This is step one. This is preparation, right? Gotta separate the lamb, kill the lamb, then we gotta eat the lamb, and we gotta strike the doorpost.
Wait, when he said eat all the body parts, did that include the top?
No, they don't have to eat all the body parts. No, they didn't have to eat the butt, but sometimes the butt of the animal is the best part. It's nice and juicy.
No.
So they had to eat. Remember, they had to have their shoes on their feet and their staff in their hand, and they have to eat it how? Do they have to eat it slow or eat it fast?
Fast!
Eat it fast. Okay, everybody eat your lamb. Hurry up. Where your shoes at? Get your shoes on. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute my judgment. I am the Lord. Right? So this is death, right? Death. And the blood shall be to you a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over. Let's go. I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day you shall be unto you for a memorial. So memorial means something you have to remember. And ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast and an ordinance forever. Forever. Does that mean tomorrow we stop?
No.
Does that mean in 5 years we stop? What about in 100 years? Do we stop in 100 years?
Never!
No, forever. Everybody say forever.
Forever.
Okay.
Doesn't even matter if it goes on for Google years, still do it.
That's right. 7 days ye shall eat unleavened bread. So are biscuits unleavened?
Yeah.
No. No. Are cakes unleavened? No. So we have for 7 days we have to eat what? Unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day unto the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. Do we want to be cut off from Israel?
What does that mean?
That means it's going to be put out or die. Do we want that to happen to us?
Wait, does that mean we'll die?
Yeah, that's one way. The put out could mean one day, or it could be death, or it could be just no longer go with Israel. So, do we want to be put out? No. Okay. And in the first day there should be a holy convocation, and the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation unto you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you. So the first day of unleavened bread. So first we have Passover, right? Then we have unleavened bread. And the first day of unleavened bread is a high Sabbath. And can we do any work?
No.
Do you guys have to go to school? You guys love going to school. Do you need to go to school on the high Sabbath?
No.
No. You guys like to go to school?
Yes.
Liar.
Boo-boo.
Okay, so first day of unleavened bread, we cannot work. And for 7 days, we have to eat no leaven. And let's see where I'm at. Okay, starting at verse 17. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in the selfsame day I have brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore ye shall observe this day in your generations by ordinance forever. Everybody say forever.
Forever.
Do we stop?
No.
We do it for how long?
Forever.
Okay.
Even if you're dead.
Forever.
I don't think it works like that. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even.
At least try.
No, you need to do it. There is no try. People say try, but they make excuses for everything in the Bible.
I mean, when you're dead, at least try to do it.
I don't think you can try when you're dead. When you're dead, you're kind of like asleep.
Wait, but I thought the Bible says if you're asleep, then you're not going to the Most High God's place.
No.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Sleep then.
everybody when they die, they sleep and they wait until judgment. So
does that mean we can wake them up?
no.
Man.
It's just, it's a term that is used, but when you're dead, you're not conscious, and your spirit is with the Almighty. Okay, so jumping back to 18. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 20th day of the month at evening. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. So can we have leaven in our house?
No.
Should we have leaven in our car?
No.
No, we shouldn't. We should
What
have.
happened to somebody threw leaven in our house, but when we were sleeping, because they knew that we didn't celebrate this day?
Then we would beat them up.
No, but we didn't know, and then we just woke up with bread in our house.
If somebody got in our house, I doubt the last thing they would do would be bringing bread in our house.
I mean, see the window, they would just dump bread right here because they knew we celebrated.
Okay, let me finish reading. 7 days there shall be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened in all your habitations. Ye shall eat. Ye shall eat nothing leavened in all your habitations. Shall ye eat unleavened bread? Yeah. Is it important? I have a lot of verses to cover.
Yeah, but then also I wanted to say something. Since people don't celebrate the Sabbath, about the feast of unleavened bread, and sinners like to eat bread on this day, does that mean that they're already cut off from the soul?
Well, that means that they're in transgression right now. But there was a time when I used to eat leaven on this before I had knowledge. So everybody.
So does that mean this?
Well, right now, yeah, they're cut off from the Almighty because they're not keeping His feast days, and He told us to keep it for how long? Forever. Okay. So let me finish. Please let me finish. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel, and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of his hay. See that they were full. Well, then move over so you're not sitting next to him. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood, and the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts of the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning. So let's say you've got Bob over here, and Bob puts blood all over his door, and then Bob says, you know what, it's midnight. I wonder if that angel's coming. And Bob opens his door and Bob goes outside. Is Bob going to live, or what's going to happen to Bob? He's going to die, right? Because he told us to not only do we have to put blood on our houses, but we have to stay inside. That's why listening to instructions and directions is very important, because the Almighty said do something, but it was twofold. Put the blood on your door and stay in the house.
So if you open the door and the angel is super far away, and if you shut the door, would you come back and still kill?
I think you would, because you're being disobedient. So the Almighty commanded you to do something. Just because the angel was over on street B and we're on street F doesn't mean that we're not going to be held accountable for not listening.
So does that mean that baby, the blood on his door, he just peeked out and shut his door, and then the blood falls off? Could that happen?
Yeah, no. Yah sees all things. So whether he sees you tell a lie or not, whether I see you tell a lie or not, Yah saw it, and you have to pay the consequences for that. So whether somebody was there to see Bob walk out the door, Yah saw it, and the Bob's going to pay the consequences. Verse 23. For the Lord will pass, no more questions. The Lord will pass through and smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel, and on the two sides of the post. Yes, honey.
Do we have to put blood on our doors?
No, because this is a type and shadow of something that's going to come. So when we further in the lesson, we'll get to that and you'll see. And the two side posts, that was a good question. The Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come unto you and unto your house and to smite you. So everybody put the blood on the door. Come on, get your blood. Okay, are we going to leave the door unlocked, or should we lock the door?
No.
Okay, let's lock our door. And you shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and thy sons forever. land which the Lord give you, according to as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. So what land are they talking about? What land did the Almighty give them?
It wasn't heaven, but it was somewhere. It was
The promised land,
Oh
right?
yeah, it was the promised land where they had to fight these ginormous giants.
Yeah, but they didn't want to fight the giants, what? Because they were scared, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. But the Most High was always with them, and the president kept trying to keep telling them.
Get on track. That ye shall keep this service. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? Because the children didn't get to see, the children might not have saw the plagues, right? So they're like, why are you doing this, Dad? Why are you putting blood all over the door? I don't understand. And so this is what the parents say, that you shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt. And when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses, and the people bowed the head and worshiped. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, and so they did. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on the throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the cattle. And this is a perfect example. There were people that were in jail. Do you think they had a choice about putting blood on their doorposts?
No, but they could try.
No, they didn't have that choice. But this shows us that just because you're in a situation that may be out of your control, that you're still accountable for what the Almighty has for you. So, and the Pharaoh rose up in the night, and he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, and there was not a house where there was not one dead. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night, he being Pharaoh, and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and your children of Israel, and go and serve the Lord as you have said. Also take your flocks and your herds, as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we shall all be dead men. So the Egyptians no longer wanted the children of Israel around them, because they're like, we keep these people here, they're going to kill us all. Yes, poppies.
Then why did they come back and kill them, try and kill them?
That's because the Almighty wanted to show himself mightily through the Egyptians. So he was like, I'm going to let you see the demise of all your enemies. Okay, you got to ask your questions louder. I want them to be able to hear your questions.
Well, what does demise all of your
I want you to see the end. I want you to see your enemies die. And the people took their dough before it was leavened. So this is why we do unleavened bread, because their dough didn't have time to rise. So before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes and their shoulder. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels and silvers and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord gave unto the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as required. And they spoiled the Egyptians. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men besides children. Yes, Kamari. Ask it loud.
When they left the house, was it still Feast of Tabernacle?
Passover?
Passover.
Yes. And the multitude went, well, actually, technically, I think this moves into unleavened bread, because it was midnight. And the mixed multitude went up also with them, and the flocks and herds, very much cattle. And they baked unleavened cakes of dough, which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out. That's why they needed their shoes on. There's no time to be like, hurry up, get your shoes on. Hurry up, we gotta go. Everybody had to have their shoes on. And they could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victuals. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. So they say 400 years. But if the children of Israel still came out before 500 years, then it still constitutes as 400, because it's 430. So they spent 430 years, even though people will always say 400 years. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that the host of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out of the land of Egypt. Egypt, This is the night of the Lord to be observed, and all the children of Israel and all their generation. So do you think that's a big deal? First off, we had all 9 plagues, right? We had blood, frogs, fleas, flies,
animals, boils, hail, and locusts.
darkness, and
Death.
okay, so death was the last one. So we had all those miracles that he did. Then finally he comes and kills the Egyptians. First, the Egyptians weren't trying to let them go at all, right? Then he says, not only do you go, take everything you wanted, and then go, get out of here. So they got blessed and leaving, right? So that was the preparation. The preparation was to kill the lamb, and let me draw a dead lamb. Don't laugh at my drawing.
Wait, Mom.
What?
So, if they wanted his gold, then he would say, just go, take the gold.
Yeah, just take it. Take all of it. Get out of here.
Take my castle.
No, you can't take the castle because how are you going to carry that?
I think that he moved out his house.
This is a lamb. Nobody say anything. He's a happy lamb right now. He doesn't know he's going to die. Everybody say hi, happy lamb.
That looks like a dog.
Hey, it's a lamb.
It's
It's a lamb. Okay, so we got to kill the lamb, right? Then we're going to put the blood on our doorpost, right? So that's what we got to do. And nobody talks about the lamb. So we already talked about if you didn't cover your house with the blood of the lamb, would your firstborn survive? Would your child survive?
No.
No, they wouldn't.
Mom, what
Yes.
happens if they actually put, instead of just putting it on the door, they put it on the roof too?
Well, what did he ask them to do? A lot of people do that. And in the world, you'll see people, the Almighty tells us to do something, but people would rather do their own thing instead of doing what the Almighty tells them to do.
I mean like they thought, like they said put blood on their doors, but then when he said put blood on their doors, they were like, maybe we should do extra, so then maybe it might work better.
Just do what the Almighty requires, right? His ways are above our ways, his thoughts above our thoughts. Let's just do what he says for us to do. We're not do all this extra, right? Sit down, Ariel, please. So the followers of Yah, they all left Egypt, right? Even some people who weren't followers of Yah at that time, they left too because they saw all the miracles and they're like, this is the true and living God. So let's go with them, right? So even some people who were non-believers went because they saw all the miracles. And they left into the wilderness and they learned to serve Yah. This is also when they went into the wilderness. Do you guys remember the Red Sea?
Yeah.
I don't have a clue. So while they're traveling, they passed through the Red Sea.
The Red Sea was super big.
Yeah. And then this is where Pharaoh dies, right? Because Pharaoh and his army, like you said, were chasing after Moses and the Israelites, right? So they're walking through the Red Sea. Pharaoh dies here, and then when they're in the wilderness, this is where they get the 10 Commandments and they learn to serve God. But a lot of people end up dying, right? Because why?
I was just about to say before you said, because he had left for so long, because you know how hard it is to carve stuff with rocks.
No, that's not why. It's because they didn't believe. Okay.
No, I thought it was because he never came for so long, and then since he never came, that they thought that he was dead, so they built
Yeah, when Moses went up to go get the commandments, and they built a calf. But it was more than just that. They didn't want to, like you said, they didn't want to go fight the giants in the promised land. And he said, and they blamed it on the children and said, oh, they're going to eat our kids. And he said, well, since you're so worried about your children, I'll let your children go into the promised land, and you shall not. Okay, so Exodus 13:6, real quick. Prove all things. Okay, so
Always.
Exodus 13:6 through 10. I don't know if I can find 6. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread, and 7 days shall be a feast unto the Lord. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee. So can we just, even if we're not eating it, can we carry a loaf of bread?
No.
Neither shall there be any leaven seen in all thy quarters, and thou shalt shew thy son. And they sang,
What's
this is
shoe in the
show. This is done because of that which the Lord did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. Okay?
Did people do this because they knew that they knew about the blood putting on the door, but they just decided to do it, did not do it, and so they covered their son, like laid their body on the sun.
Can we stop doing what if scenarios, please, so we can get through this lesson? Ario's asking like bona fide questions of not understanding, and you keep bringing up all these what if scenarios. And it shall be a sign unto thee upon thine hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, that the Lord's law may be in thy mouth. For with a strong hand hath the Lord brought thee out of Egypt. Thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance in its season from year to year. And we know that means forever. Okay.
Forever.
So that was what happened in the very beginning. This is the start of Passover for us. It was the whole start when Yah restarted time. Okay, this is going to be the beginning of the years for you. This is the month of Aviv. This is the first month of the year. You're going to do this, right? And every year after that, you're going to do this as a memorial, right?
Memorial.
So this is how Passover started. This is the very beginning. Now we have to jump into the current time. So this is the Old Testament. But you're being very rude. Do you need to leave? Sit down. Now we move into the New Testament, and it still applies, right? Because we have to do it
Forever.
Okay, yes, Mark.
For the Passover, wasn't there something to do with the moon about the Passover and the moon?
The moon shows us our dates and our times. So the moon shows us when the month starts, and then it starts 14 days after the beginning of the month. Okay. So why is this feast important, and what does it mean to us now? So this is what we're going to get into. Why do you think this feast is important?
Because
Speak up.
Because it will cut off us from the true lamb.
The true lamb. Which is funny you say that. Remember that you said that. Everything in the Old Testament is a type and shadow of what's going to happen in the New Testament. Aria, why is this feast important? What does it mean to us?
If we don't do it, we will get cut off.
We'll get cut off, right. And we have to be covered by the blood of the Lamb in Passover. Okay, so we're going to read 1 Corinthians 5, 7 through 8. Please sit down. Prove
All things.
Thank you, good job. Ariel? Prove all things. So now we're going to talk about why this is important to us now. Okay, so it says, purge out, therefore, the old leaven. Leaven is also known as sin. So we have to get, physically, we have to get the leaven out of our house. But what it means to us in the new covenant is we need to get the leaven out of our heart. So we have to get rid of all the bad things. So this is a brand new year. All the bad things we've been doing, all the bad habits we've been picking up, we need to let those things go, right? So purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So we have to get all the lies, right? What are some other things we got to get out of us? What do you need to do?
Leaven.
You need to what? Okay.
We have to get all the leaven bread out.
Yeah, we can get all the leaven bread out, but that's just symbolic of what we need to do in our life. This, in the Old Testament, they physically had to do it, right? In the New Testament, we have to more so spiritually do something. We physically do something, we get the bread out of our house, but we spiritually get those bad things, the sin, the leaven, out of our heart. So what are some bad things that people do?
Don't listen to God.
They don't listen, that's right. They don't keep the commandments. What else?
And
What about lying?
They lie to their mom.
They lie to their mom. They don't listen. Yeah.
When I went to like my friend's
That's
house.
no story. Not story time. Focus. Kamari, what are some things that people do? Because it says we have to get out the old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So what are some leaven things that people do? What are some sinful or bad things that people do? We said don't listen to y'all, so don't keep the commandments. We said lie. What else?
Don't listen to Donald Trump.
Yeah, you should listen to Donald Trump.
Anyways.
What is the leaven that we need to avoid? The leaven we need to avoid, we physically during this week have to avoid bread, but after this week we can eat bread again, but we're really talking about the leaven that's in our heart. So after this week, does that mean we can go back to lying?
No!
Does that mean we can go back to stealing?
Actually, kind of, because
No.
lying is a hard part to do.
No, we should not go back. We need to beat these
Yeah, but
lies.
then it's hard to not do.
Yes, but if you keep practicing, you'll get it. So we need to avoid sin, and we need to keep sin out of our lives. By physically removing the yeast or leaven, it is a reminder to remove sin from our lives. Not just for 1 week, but for our whole life. Our whole life we're not supposed to sin, right? Once you become new creatures, you're not supposed to sin. So all of our lies and all of our dishonesty and all of our stealing and all of our killing.
Then how did we still alive to this day?
Well, that's because you haven't had an opportunity to receive the Spirit. You also haven't been baptized. Because it takes you getting to a point of saying, you know what, I'm done doing these old things. I'm done being this old person. I no longer want to be a sinner. I want to have my life right, and I want to dedicate my life to God. But until you're ready to do those things, until you're ready to really honestly be committed, then you don't get baptized. You shouldn't get baptized.
What happens if they do?
Well, because it says that you have to bury the old man and you rise up a new man. And then whenever we sin, after he's given us knowledge and understanding, that we crucify the Lord again afresh. So we should not sin. That's what we have the Holy Ghost for.
When he says bury the old man and the...
Okay. You and me will talk about this later because we need to focus, and I still have more to get through. All right. So then, how do we observe it now? What do we do for Passover? What did we do last night? What did we eat?
Pizza.
we ate unleavened bread pizza, but what was in the middle? What did we share?
We shared salty unleavened bread.
Unleavened bread.
Salted. Egg sauce. Egg almost salt.
But also in your unleavened bread, you're supposed to eat bitter. You gotta be telling on folks.
Egg sauce.
All right. Do you guys think that Yeshua kept the Passover? And do you think he kept unleavened bread? Why do you think he kept it?
Because he knew about all of this from the beginning, because he was the son of the Most High Yah, and he was born because the Most High Yah wanted him to be that person, so that he can make everybody go to the shew, but people are super stupid. Like Donald Trump.
What he said. Okay, so now I have to, you guys said Yah. You guys said that Yeshua kept the Passover, so I'm going to show you where he kept the Passover, and that's going to be in Mark 14, 12 through 25. So we have to do what? We have to prove
All things.
all things. Okay, so
Always.
prove all things with the word. Okay, so starting at 14, verse 12. And at the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover, which the disciples said unto him,
When they killed the Passover? What does that mean?
What was the first thing? We had to kill the...
Yeah, but then you said killed the Passover.
Yes, the Passover is the lamb. Lamb is our Passover. So they killed the lamb, they killed the... Right? When they killed the Passover, his disciples said unto him, Where wilt thou that we shall go to prepare, that thou mayest eat the Passover? And he sendeth forth 2 of his disciples, and saith unto them, Go ye into the city, and there ye shall meet a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him, and wherever he shall go in, ye shall say, Good man of the house, The master saith, where is the guest chamber where we shall eat the Passover with the disciples? And he will show you a large upper room furnished and prepared. There make ready for us. And his disciples went forth and came into the city and found as he had said unto them, and they made ready the Passover. And in the evening he cometh with the 12, and as they sat they did eat, Yeshua said, verily I say unto you, one of you which eat with me shall betray me. And they began to be sorrowful, and say unto him, one by one, is it I? And another said, is it I? Sit down, Ariam. And he answered and said unto them, it is the one of the 12 that dippeth with me in the dish. The Son of Man indeed goeth, as it is written unto him, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. Good were it that man as if that man had never been born. And as they did eat, Yeshua took bread and blessed and brake it, and gave unto them and said, take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it unto them, and they ate and they drank. And he said unto them, this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many. Verily I say unto you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine until that day that I drink it in the new kingdom. So in the cup he gave them wine, and then they took unleavened bread. Sit down, and they ate unleavened bread. Sit on your left. Whoa! Exactly why you need to sit on your Bible. Just leave it there. It's fine. It's fine. Just leave it there. I don't want to see on your knees again. You understand me? Okay. So they didn't really eat Yeshua's blood. They didn't really drink Yeshua's blood. They didn't really eat Yeshua's flesh. It was symbolic of something, of the Passover, right? Because Yeshua, as I will show you, is our Passover now. He was live then, so when he was with them then, he gave them a cup and he gave them unleavened bread. But when eventually he dies, right? And then he's symbolic of our Passover.
So when he dies, does that mean, wait, you know how they said about how the Passover, how they killed the sheep? When that happened, when Moses, Yeshua died, is that what they had to kill now? Or was that last before?
Remember I said it's a type and shadow?
Yeah.
Excuse me. The killing of the Passover then, right, of the lamb, is a type of shadow will happen. So Yeshua, that lamb dies to cover their house, right? And Yeshua dies to cover us. So he dies and he is our Passover. So now we don't have to go out and kill a real lamb because Yeshua already died for us to cover our sins, to be our Passover.
So what happens if we still did it?
What happens if we still did it? Well, then you wouldn't be observing the commandments as far as we're in the new covenant. So we no longer need to go out and kill a lamb. You're almost saying like, okay, I know you died, Yeshua, but you're not good enough. I'm going to still go kill a real lamb. I mean, obviously a lamb died, right? So we can eat our lamb, but you don't have to go out and kill a lamb and sacrifice a lamb the way that they did in the old covenant. So, not only do we partake in drinking wine and eating the unleavened bread, which is symbolic of Yeshua's body and his blood, we also do something called feet washing. And this is important because most people forget to do this.
Like us?
No, we're going to do feet washing today. It's important that we do feet washing because it shows humility. Yeshua came not to...
I thought humility is when you hit, it's like you just make people just lay up. Just give me a little humility.
No. Humility. That's humiliate what you're thinking. Humility is being humble or being meek. So because it shows humility, Yeshua came not to serve, but to be served. Mark 10:45. Show
all things.
All things. Mark 10:45. Always. Show all things, and Ariel adds always. Okay. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. Right? So to minister means to be a servant. He came to be a servant. So he does feet washing with his apostles, and we're going to read that in the book of John.
I remember that part because
Yes, yes.
I thought the girls supposed to wash the other girls' feet, but then the boys have to wash the boys' feet, but then there's no other boys.
There's no other boys. That's fine. And the reason why we did that is just because of like modesty and stuff, and sisters should take care of sisters and brothers should take care of brothers. So John 13, 1 through 17. Prove all things. I need to check and see if this camera's done. If this cell phone's done. Let's start. It is. I got 3%. Hold on, guys. Break. You guys stay there. Don't move.
I wanted to do Fuego. I wanted to do Fuego. Hey,
Calm down.
I want to do Fuego. It's no fail. I was stressed.
Siéntate, por favor.
I'm mad at you. I don't want to think of this. I don't like that.
so it just finished.
No, it's still going. But the camera's dark, and the reason why it's getting dark is
Because it's on 3%.
it's on 3% now. It's on 30% when we first started. Okay. John 13, starting at verse 1, going through 17. So now we're going to talk about the feet washing, right? Which we're going to do later. And
Isn't it? I think
louder.
is it true that Jesus said that
Yeshua.
Yeshua said that he's gonna wash his apostles' feet, that he gave them wine and unleavened bread? Is it true?
That's what we're about to cover. About to talk about that right now.
I know it's
Now, before the feast of Passover, when Yeshua knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of the world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. And supper being ended, and the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, Yeshua, knowing that the Father had given all things unto his hands, and that he was come from Yah, and went to Yah. He riseth from supper, and laid aside his garment, and took a towel, and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin, and began to wash his disciples' feet, and to wash them with a towel wherewith he was girded. So, if Yeshua, say, move seats, because then you're not paying attention. He knows the answers. Do you know the answers? So if Yeshua came and washed your feet, how do you think that would make you feel?
washing my feet. I would be like, why are you washing my feet? Shouldn't I be washing your feet? And that's how the apostles were.
Dang, can you let me read the story? Yes, the apostles were like, no, Yeshua, you're the son of Yah. You can't wash my feet. Who am I? Even when Yeshua went to get baptized by John the Baptist, John the Baptist is like, I'm not even worthy to buckle up your sandal. You want me to baptize you? How would you feel, Ariel?
Well.
You would feel weird? What if you had crusty feet?
Ew.
But guess what? Sit down. Yeshua, guess what? If you have crusty feet, Yeshua would still wash your feet.
I'll do that. Why?
And this is where humility comes in. Because not everybody's feet look like feet in the movies or feet on television. Some people have some not so good. And they used to walk around barefoot in sandals. So their feet were probably pretty rough. And that's where humility, no matter how much, if we had invited a homeless person over for dinner and we were going to do feet washing, we did feet washing, no matter how bad his feet smell, no matter how bad his feet look, we still have to be humble.
And then he wanted to kill us too. Would you invite him to our house and still do it?
Kamari, what did I say about scenarios? We're not doing scenarios anymore. Okay, moving back where it was. Okay, After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet and wiped them with a towel wherewith he was girded. Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter saith unto him, Lord, do thou wash my feet? Like, are you going to wash my feet? And Yeshua answered and said unto him, what I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know the hereafter. So you don't understand it now, but you will understand later. Peter saith unto him, thou shalt never wash my feet. Yeshua answered him, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. So if I can't wash your feet, then you don't have a part with me. Simon Peter said, Lord, not my feet only, but my hands and my head. So then first Peter was like, no, you're not going to wash my feet. And then she was like, if I don't wash your feet, you have no part of me. And then he was like, oh, okay, you can wash my feet, you can wash my hands, you can wash my head. Kind of like the question you asked, right? You said, what if they put blood not only on the door, but they put it on the roof? But listen to what Yeshua says. Yeshua said unto him, he that is washed needed not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all. So he said, I don't need to wash your hands, and I don't need to wash your head. I just need to wash your feet, and then you are going to be clean. Everything's going to be clean, right? But not all, because we know Judas betrays him. And I need to go into 17. For he knew who shall betray him. Therefore he said, ye are not all clean. So after he had washed their feet, and had taken his garments, and was set down again, he said unto them, know ye what I have done unto ye? Ye call me Master and Lord, and ye say well, for so I am. Yes.
Why does one of the men have to betray y'all?
Because one of the people that were they were like a different prophet, and he was preaching versus their word. So then they traded, because he liked money a lot, they traded him some money to go kill him.
Yes. And it's all so that everything could be fulfilled. Because if Yeshua didn't die, then who would cover our sins? Because y'all looked down on this earth and he said, who can cover these sins? And if nobody was worthy to cover our sins, because nobody was spotless. Everybody had spots and blemishes. And can a lamb have spot and blemishes? Does Yeshua have spot and blemishes?
No.
And what are spot and blemishes? They are their sin, right? So we know that Yeshua didn't sin, which we'll cover later. And if I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet, even if they're stinky, even if they're dirty, even if they're crusty. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If you know these things, happy are you to do them. So let's say it's feet washing, and I'm like, it's feet washing. I don't want to wash nobody's feet. Y'all feet stink. Do you think y'all's happy with that?
No.
No, because he says he loves a cheerful giver, and he says you should do these things happily. If you understand that the master came to be a servant, then happily are you to do these things for other people.
Yeah, even if there's crabs stuck on his feet, even if there's blemishes on his feet, even if there's a
crabs.
snail,
Who's got crabs on their feet? Okay.
So
we know
what they
that
look like.
we know that we're supposed to love our neighbor, and there's 10 commandments, right? The first 10 commandments are about who? Remember our hands project? I tried to find the hands project, guys. I don't know what we did with them.
The 3 Ten Commandments.
The first 10 commandments are about who?
Men and y'all.
The first 10 commandments.
The first 10 commandments. Remember our hands project?
Yeah.
What's about men?
Was not about men.
What's about y'all?
Was about loving Yah, right?
Yeah.
So we need to love Yah.
And love.
And the second 10 commandments was about
Love men.
loving man.
I thought I was about to say hate.
Yeah. So loving man. And that means like loving our neighbor, right? So we know we need to love our neighbor. So if our neighbor has crusty feet and whatever, we still need to be humble, and we still need to be servants to our neighbor. And I want to show you that, which I need to do what? I need to prove all things. How long, Ariel? Forever. So we're going to go to Matthew 22, verse 36.
This is like for S.
Yeah, that's because it's a lot of good knowledge.
I'm having fun.
Okay, so Matthew 22, verse 36. Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Which is the greatest commandment in the law? They were trying to trick him. Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. So can we love the Lord just halfway? No, we have to love him with what? With everything. Ariel, you here to say everything.
Does that mean
What
does that mean that we can't love our parents as much?
No, you should never love anybody above Yah. Because it says, what's the first one? It says, one Yah, right?
Wait, Mom.
Yes.
What happens if we love Yah and our dad and mom the same?
No. First commandment. Love Yah, right? And have no other gods, right? Second commandment, right? No idols. Anything that you put above Yah becomes an idol, right? And then we have the third one, which is respect his name, right?
So does that mean if we put our dad over Yah, that means our dad becomes an idol?
That's right. And when
then
Yah,
we can't come to the Most High.
no, that would be your fault because your dad couldn't make himself an idol. You made himself an idol. So they have this picture, and it's like an umbrella. Yah is at the top, right?
Yeah.
We have Yah. Then we have the head, which is the husband, right? So he's got a smaller umbrella, the head, or the husband. Right? And then we have our children.
Wait.
So Yah protects everybody, right? He protects the husband, and the husband protects the wife and the children, right?
Wait, but if Yah protects the husband and the children, then why are children dying that are in the Most High Law's word?
Because things still need to be fulfilled. There are going to be people that die. There are still sinners in this world, and everybody has free choice.
I mean, like a kid, and he's serving the Most High. Why is he going to die?
Well, everybody eventually has to die, right?
I mean, like somebody went over there.
Because the people still have free choice. There's still sinners in this world. But just know that that person that's serving the Most High, when he goes to sleep, and he's going to rest and his spirit's going to be with Yah, when he rises, he's going to rise on the first rising and not the second rising. The second rising has no power. So people who get up first, those are the ones that are going to go into the kingdom. The people who wake up second, those people aren't going into the kingdom. So it's okay if we die, but the biggest thing that we need to know is we need to make sure that we serve the Almighty. So your mom and your dad fit in here, right? Got a mom and dad, they fit in here. All right? So Yah's above everything, above your video games, above your car, above your dog, above your house. Nothing that we have goes above Yah. Anything that we have above Yah is a what, Ariel?
Idol.
Is an Ariel. Is an idol. So if you were to take the 10 commandments and you were to split them into two, you would have the first greatest commandment is to love Yah.
Mom, what happens if we put our video games on top of our mom and dad and super close to Yah?
That's still wrong because why?
Does that mean that our video game will turn into an idol?
No, it doesn't mean that your video game turned into an idol, but it says honor your mother and father, which is in the first 5 commandments. And it's the first commandment will promise you. If you honor your mother and father, then your days will be long upon the earth. Okay, so Matthew 22, 36 through 40. jumping back in. Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And Yeshua said unto them, Thou shalt love the Lord with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So if I love my neighbor, am I going to lie to my neighbor?
No.
Am I going to steal from my neighbor?
No.
Am I going to kill my neighbor?
No.
Am I going to eat his food if he invites me over and it's really, really yummy?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
We like food. And he invited us and we didn't steal it. But if we stole it, that would be wrong.
No.
Then we're going to go to Leviticus 19.
I miss Curtis.
I missed this too. Okay.
He's moving to anyways. So.
I wonder if they still do that. Okay, so Leviticus 19 and 18. Thou shalt not avenge your... Okay. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. So he's serious about that. Love Yah, put Yah first, and love your neighbor, and treat everyone as you want to be treated. And I forgot to get that.
How did we even?
Can you raise your hand because you're interrupting?
How did we?
I didn't call on you. I forgot to get the scripture that says that prefer your neighbor's things above your own things. Care for other people above doing your own thing. So if I see somebody hungry and I'm hungry, but I know I eat every day, and I know they might not get a chance because they're homeless to eat, so should I give them my food?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should give them my food because I have another opportunity to eat and they may not. Yes, go ahead, Papa. What's your question?
How did we eat? Wait, never mind. It's nothing about that.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So now I want to talk to you about how Yeshua is the Lamb of Yah, and it's going to connect the Old Testament to the New Testament. So we've already kind of talked about that. And Yeshua had no blemishes, right? He was perfect, right? Because Yah looked down and he said, somebody's got to take away these sins. And he said, who can do it? And he didn't see anybody there that can do it. So we're going to go to John, and we're going to do what? We're going to prove. We're going to prove
Everything.
all things. I didn't call on you, Kamari, but I'm calling you. John 1 and 29. The next day John seeth Yeshua coming unto him, and saith, Behold, the Lamb of Yah, which taketh away the sins of the world. So here's John the Baptist, saying, Here cometh the Lamb of Yah. So who's the Lamb of Yah?
Most High.
Yeshua. 1 Peter 1 and 19. Yes, puppies.
So when he looked down, nobody wanted to do it because they were full of evil.
Nobody could do it because they had blemishes, because they had sin.
What happens if they didn't do it?
We're not doing what if because apparently there was no what if, because he would have sent that person to do it. He had to send himself. He had to send Yeshua. 1 Peter 1:19. But if the precious blood of Christ, as of the Lamb, without blemish and without spot. So did Yeshua have any sin?
No.
No, and we know that because it says Christ as a lamb without blemish and without spot. Okay? And remember in the Old Testament, could your sheep have blemish? No, he couldn't. You guys speak up, they can't hear you.
No,
No.
because if he had blemish, then he would be evil and he wouldn't bless.
Yeah, and he had to be a male of what?
Lamb.
He had to be a lamb, but he had to be a male lamb. And how old?
1 year old.
Within the first year, yes. Ariel, sit up. Hebrews 9, we're almost finished, Ladybug. Hebrews 9 and 14. You guys can get a fruit snack. They're clean fruit snacks. They're the Mott's ones. 9 and 14. How much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot unto Yah, purge your conscience from dead works and serve the living Yah. So we have to get out all of the leaven, right? And we have to serve the living Yah because he came down here with spot or blemish so that he can minister and be a servant unto us. Okay, so we know that spot and blemish is sin. And right now that spot and blemish represents what? What are we getting out of our house?
Evil.
the leaven and the yeast, right? That's physically we're getting out the bread. I'm going to draw a piece of toast. So physically we got to get out the bread, right?
Hey guys, we have bread in our house.
But spiritually we have to get out what?
Bread.
No.
Evil.
Spiritually we have to get out the evil. That doesn't look bad either. Does that look bad? Does that look evil?
Let me do it.
No, it's not.
You just need to put like some little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So evil is bad. No bad. No evil.
Bread is kind of good.
Yeah, bread is good for us. That's fine. This is fine, but just not during this week. Okay. Okay. So we know we got to get all the bread out of our house. So if Yeshua is the lamb and our perfect sacrifice in the Old Testament, and the house had to be covered by blood, right? We know the house had to be covered literally by blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the door. And now we have to be covered by the blood of Yeshua, right? So he had to die for us so that we can be covered by his blood.
Wait, so are you saying literally about like, so our next generation, so since you gave birth to me, then when I get my own house, the blood's still on that door waiting?
No, because we have, this is just symbolic of, they literally had to do this. They physically had to put blood on their doorposts. Now, when you are a servant of the Almighty, we are covered by his blood spiritually. That's why he died, so that we can spiritually be covered by his blood. So, if you are not covered by his blood, what happens?
Done.
And how do we know that?
Because heaven, or maybe not all people know that they're gonna die because they're stupid.
No,
pretty much
but
like Donald Trump.
we know because it's a type and shadow. So we know if you are not spiritually covered by the blood of Yeshua, you're going to die, because when they weren't physically covered by the blood of the Lamb, what happened to them? So we have to be covered by the blood spiritually for our lamb, and they had to be covered by the blood physically by a natural lamb. That's right. So we have to make a choice. Are we going to serve the Almighty?
No.
Yes. No. Are we going to serve the Almighty?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And we're going to be covered by him what? By his blood what?
Blood.
Spiritually. And how do we be covered by his blood spiritually? By keeping
serving his commandments.
By keeping the 10 commandments, which is the greatest one is to serve y'all, and the second one is like unto the first, to love man. So that's all I've got for you guys today. You guys have been fantastic listeners. Thank you for everybody who tuned in on Facebook. If you didn't tune in, sucks for you. If you get to watch it later, good for you. Hope you guys have a great rest of the Shabbat and a good Passover.
Mom,
love you, y'all. Back. Shalom.
Mom, wait.
You guys want to say hi? You gotta
Mom,
back up. Back up, Kamari.
I want to do 2 Roblox dances.
Yeah, no.
Please.
Say bye. Say shalom.
Bye.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Kamari, and if you don't know me, sorry, just go in the comments.
Bye, dudes.
All right, you guys are ready for this fruit snacks. Shalom.